Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you guys are watching this video. First and foremost, thank you guys, for even clicking on this video and checking out my channel. It means a lot to me, so thank you. I just want to start this video off by saying I'm gonna keep the intro short. It's not gonna be too long. This is a guide at the end of the day, and I'm not here to waste your time, with my life story or any unnecessary information. But with that being said, since this will hopefully, fingers crossed, be the first video that I upload on my channel, it would mean the world to me if you guys could watch it until the very end. I'm gonna leave the final minute or two of the video just for me to be able to talk about the type of content I want to upload, the type of community I want to build, stuff like that, etc. Again, apologies if this intro is over a minute long, which by now I'm pretty sure it is. I try keeping it, as short as possible because this is a dungeon guide and I'm sure that's why most of you clicked on this video. But enough of me rambling, let's jump straight into it. Alright, so before I talk about the first encounter, I want to discuss how this video is gonna, be structured. I'm gonna go over each encounter and the respective mechanics, and also try to give you some survivability tips throughout the video, since this is a solo flawless guide and you'll be on your own. However, with all that being said, this dungeon is extremely outdated, and I would honestly say there are probably like some campaign missions out in the game right now that, yield a higher difficulty. But yeah, man, if you haven't at least attempted to solo flawless this dungeon, I would definitely give it a shot, as it's one of the easier ones in the game, and hopefully this guide helps you out. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice when you spawn in is that you actually have to make your way to the first encounter. Luckily, it's a pretty simple path to follow, so I'm just gonna let the video play on 2x speed until we get there. If you guys followed the path I took, you should hopefully now be at the first encounter, which I like to refer to as towers. Like the name suggests, you're going to be navigating this cliffside that's basically scattered with hive towers from left to right. And you'll also notice that each tower is accompanied by a big green glowing symbol. However, the only symbol you should be focusing on at the start of the encounter is the A symbol. But the reason I like going to this tower first, and I would also recommend it, is because it's relatively close to the rally flag, and I believe it's the quickest way you can obtain a hive sword, which you'll need for the later mechanics in this encounter. So, once you rally and drop to A tower, there's going to be a pit keeper that you have to kill in order to enter the tower. Once you finally kill the pit keeper, you'll see that the tower door that's blocked off by darkness will kind of go away. Once inside, the first thing you're gonna notice is there's gonna be 3 separate hive symbols, each hanging in front of you. It's important that you remember these symbols because the symbols indicate which specific towers you have to go to. Also, in the same room, a sword bearer will spawn, and upon killing him, he'll drop a hive sword. With the hive sword in hand, you now want to exit A tower and make your way to the other towers that match with the corresponding symbols that are hanging above you. Also, it doesn't matter which symbol you decide to do first. You don't have to do them in order from, top to bottom, or, there really is no specific order. As long as you go to the towers that are assigned to the symbols above you and complete them, you should be good. After maneuvering around the cliffside and finally getting to the first tower, you'll have to do the same thing as before to open the door, which would be killing the pit keeper. You'll also have to kill a pit keeper when you get to the second and third towers, so just, keep that in mind. It's kind of a theme in this encounter. Once inside, you'll notice the room is a bit different. Instead of there being a sword bearer, you'll either find a shrieker, a wizard, or a knight. The type of enemy you'll encounter in the first tower is random each time, and there will only be 1 per room, equaling 3 in total that you must kill. and the only way you can damage these specific enemies is by using the hive sword that you picked up. Additionally, the way you deal damage to each enemy is different. Starting off with the Shrieker, all you have to do is hold down your guard button and try redirecting his laser back at him. This one is probably the easiest, I'll say, out of the three. You know, you don't really have to worry about too much besides the ogres that spawn besides him, since they deal massive knockback damage, and they can severely impact your aim if they hit you. Alright, after having killed the Shrieker, we now want to make our way to the second tower and kill the Pit Keeper to open it up. The next enemy we're gonna have to deal with is the Knight, who you can only damage when you use the slash attack with the sword. This boss, I will say, is a little more tricky than the Shrieker, just because you have to be up close and personal if you want to deal damage, and he also occasionally swings at you with his sword. However, if you guard right before he attacks, you can negate all damage and be able to counter him with a flurry of attacks. After you've done this combo for a bit, he should go down pretty easy. There are also thralls that spawn in this room, but they're all the way in the back, and you know, they pose no real threat. You know, you should be fine not worrying about them. Finally, the last enemy you'll have to face is the wizard. Instead of slashing or guarding, you actually have to launch a projectile from your sword in order to damage the wizard. There are also going to be 2 additional wizards that spawn in the room. These wizards can be dealt through normal means, and I would highly recommend taking them out first, as even though yes, they are low level, they can still melt you with the arc blast, and you know, just to be careful. Once those wizards are dead, it's fairly easy to kill the boss. After a couple of hits from your projectile, he should go down. Also, you can use the pillars in the room as a sort of barricade, in case you ever need to evade the wizard's arc blast. After you've completed all 3 towers, you'll notice there's a light now emitting from the central tower down below, and that's where you'll want to go. Simply kill the Pit Keeper when you get there, and that's the first encounter done. There's not too many tips I can really offer you guys. The only thing I would recommend running is either a sword with Eager's Edge or put on the grapple melee for best mobility. Since the towers aren't the closest to each other, it can save you a lot of time. I'm actually running both in the background gameplay, and you guys are more than welcome to do the same. Alright, now that you've completed the first encounter, follow the path I take in the background gameplay to get to the entrance of the second encounter. Once you drop down further into the pit, you'll arrive at this cave system looking place. And the whole objective in this area is to open up 3 different green doors that are in the back of the caves in order to access the second encounter. The way you open up these doors is by depositing a void charge at each one. Also, if you notice, scattered throughout the cave system are like little holes that are covered by these like weird leaf looking things. If you actually shoot at these leaves, the hole is going to open up and it will allow you to go inside. Once inside, you should find a knight, and upon killing the knight, he'll drop the void charge. After, just simply take the void charge to the door and rinse and repeat. To make things simpler, I'm gonna put a map on screen that lays out the entire encounter so you can get an idea of where you have to go and where the enemies, you know, where everything's located. But yeah, I mean, this encounter is fairly easy, and all you really have to worry about is the ogres that are roaming outside. You can't deal damage to them, but if you throw on something like Invis or Grapple for mobility, you should be fine. Alright, but after maneuvering through the cave and depositing all 3 void charges, the green door should now dissolve and you should be able to enter the second encounter. To start the second encounter, you want to stand on the plate in the back of the room. Once you start the encounter, whenever you step off of the plate, if you don't get back on it in 10 seconds, it'll cause you to wipe. This is important to remember because you'll be stepping off of the plate quite frequently to kill specific knights that spawn down below. Just like in the ogre maze, whenever you kill these knights, they'll drop you a void charge. Simply take the void charge back and deposit it behind the plate. Also, depositing the void charges will remove the Curse of Suffering debuff that you get. Rinse and repeat this process 5 more times and the block path should now be open. One additional piece of information you guys should know is that the knights that drop the void charges are on a 30-second timer. and they'll always start spawning in from left to right. Additionally, I would run something like Grapple, since you can activate it with the Void Charge in hand and it can come in clutch whenever you need to make it back onto the plate. I would also recommend running some sort of self-healing in your build, be it a healing nade or, you know, a weapon with heal clip. The enemies have pretty low health, but they don't stop spawning, and they could easily swarm you if you're not on top of them. After popping the zit on the wall and moving forward a bit, you'll have to drop down the hole in front of you. However, as you can see in the gameplay, there's rotating spikes and lamps swinging back and forth that are in your way. I would recommend doing what I do in the background gameplay, and that's descending each level one by one to give yourself the best chance of survival. You could try attempting to jump in one go, but at this point in the dungeon with 2 encounters done, it's not worth it if you're trying to get the solo flawless completed, as the spikes instantly kill you if they touch you. Once at the bottom, you'll notice you have to traverse through another maze. And let me just say, this one is much more confusing than the last, so just be ready to take your time and be patient. You'll also notice there's 3 symbols that appear in front of you. These symbols also appear at the exit door, and your main objective in this maze is locating all 3 symbols and killing the wizards assigned to each of them. Once you have killed all 3 wizards, you will see that the exit door should now dissolve and you should be free to head towards the last encounter. Also, you want to be on the lookout for traps that are scattered throughout the maze. I'm going to put up a picture for you guys laying out the area that you can screenshot if you like, and I would recommend that you guys use it. Take it from me, I spent like 20 minutes just in this one part alone. Partially because, you know, I wasn't using my brain to its fullest capabilities, but it's also easy to get lost if it's your first time doing it or if you don't know where you're going. But yeah, man, I mean, it sounds simple enough, but this is honestly the most challenging part in my opinion in the whole dungeon. Also, probably the most time consuming, like I said, if you have no idea where to go. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, you know, just be patient, and I would definitely recommend running either Grapple, Thunder Crash, you know, Icarus Dash, just something that could help you recover, you know, in case you ever fall. Now follow the path I take and you should arrive at the final encounter, where you'll be facing Zolmak. As soon as you drop down, you'll see the boss as well as several ads around him. The first thing I would recommend doing is dealing with the ads before you start working on any mechanics. When I attempted my run, I honestly didn't pay that much attention to them, but that almost backfired on me several times. I would also watch out for the cursed thralls, since they can easily sneak up behind you and kill you in an instant. Just be patient and remember, there's no need to rush. Furthermore, apart from your normal ads, you'll also see that there's 3 heretical knights that spawn in the arena. And just like in the first encounter, they'll drop a hive sword once you defeat them. You only need to kill one of them, however, I would recommend taking out all 3 in one go, since they won't stop following you and can become quite annoying when you're trying to do DPS to the boss, or trying to do the mechanics in the other towers. Speaking about the towers, there's 3 in total that all connect to the middle arena. And just like in the first encounter, one of them's gonna have a knight, the other one's gonna have a wizard, and the last one's gonna have a shrieker. The way you defeat these enemies is also the same as in the first encounter, either by blocking for the shrieker, slashing for the knight, or launching a projectile attack for the wizard. But upon their deaths, they'll drop a void charge that you must take back to the central platform and deposit. What this encounter really is, if you've kind of been noticing, it kind of just combines the mechanics of the first encounter and the second encounter and fuses them into one. After you've deposited all 3 void charges in their corresponding place, you can now start damaging the boss. An important thing to note is that you can only deal damage to Zolmak while standing inside the inner green circle. Also, if you haven't taken the time to kill any remaining ads, they will swarm you while trying to damage the boss. They don't deal much damage, but it's just an extra level of annoyance that you should take care of beforehand. As for the boss himself, he doesn't have that much health, and if you're running a Thunder Crash with Karas or a Celestial Nighthawk, you should be able to easily one-phase him with no problem. Even running a well on Warlock would be a pretty viable option. It actually took me 2 phases to kill the boss, since I was running a Graviton forfeit build. You guys could run it too if you want. It's a pretty easy way to cheese the encounter. It pretty much gives you infinite invis, but like I said, unless you're a DPS god, the only downside is you're more than likely gonna have to two-phase. But for infinite invis, I think it's definitely something you guys should consider. The enemies won't even know you're in the room, and you can easily deposit the balls undetected. But yeah, if you're not able to one-phase the boss, simply rinse and repeat. Kill the bosses in the towers, take the void charges back to the central platform, and start the damage phase right up again. But yeah, man, I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I wish you guys the best of luck if you're trying to get your solo flawless completed. Like I said, it's something I would definitely recommend doing, especially, you know, with the current state of Destiny and the current sandbox. There's so many OP builds you can run in the game, and it's just something fun, you know, you guys could do. But yeah, man, just thank you guys for checking out my video, and thank you, you know, if you watched it all the way until the end. I would also really appreciate it if you guys could let me know what you thought about the video. But if nothing else, I hope this guide was able to help at least one of you out there. Hey guys, like I said before, I hope you enjoyed the video at least a little bit. And if you did, it would mean the world to me if you guys could please subscribe. I am gonna get this out the way. I know this was a Destiny video specifically, and it also is the first video on my channel, so I don't want you guys to get the wrong impressions. While yes, I will be posting Destiny content from time to time, even after June 9th. I will also be uploading story games like Final Fantasy, which I'm super excited to play. I'm currently playing Crisis Core, but I'm actually about to finish. I'm pretty sure I just killed Genesis in Crisis Core, so I'm like right there at the end. But once I do finish Crisis Core, I'ma play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that will hopefully be the first game I have up on my channel. I also play a bunch of sports games like Madden, you know, 2K a bunch. You know, for the most part, I play whatever, you know, I just like video games. I'm not just a person that plays Destiny or plays this or plays that, you know. I play all types of video games, and I want to be able to upload all types of video games. With that being said, I actually stream Destiny daily over on Twitch. Yes, I am doing a self-promo. No, but for real, I stream daily, and I'm always helping out my viewers on stream. So if you ever need someone to play with, or if you just want to chat, be sure to follow me on Twitch. Like I said, I play Destiny every day, and I'm trying to build my community over there. So yeah, it would mean a lot to me if you guys could follow. I'ma link it in the description of this video, and it's also in my account description. Sadly, I doubt I'm gonna be able to go live today when this video goes up, because it's game 3 of the NBA Finals in a bit, and I'm gonna see if I can watch that later. However, I'll most definitely be streaming after, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, sorry for the long ramble. Just had to throw a little, you know, self-promo out there. But on a serious note, guys, I love you, take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.